Ibadah. The next program on the list now is that we want our chairman in person of Alhaji Ibrahim Abayomi to give us some opening words or opening remarks. Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and greetings of peace to everyone on this webinar. We thank you for joining, and this is going to be very brief because we really don't want to waste any time going into the main agenda of the day. We just want our people to know that in view of the unfolding issues surrounding immigration matter in the United States as of today, we have been receiving a lot of calls, and of course, it's an obligation for us as a community to make sure that we provide information, advice, and guidance to our members. This is not a religious-based program. It doesn't matter. You can share with your friend whether they are Muslim or they are not Muslim. This is for everybody, it's for all of us. And I welcome you all, and I pray that may we get the most benefit from this. Thank you so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you, the chairman. Now we want to welcome our lecturer, the person who is here to speak to us about the current issue going on in the country right now, in person of our scholar, a young scholar also, is part of our mission board. So he's gonna be here as his home profession today, not as a part of the mission body, in person of Sheikh Gassikia, to give us the enlightenment. So we want to welcome our Sheikh Gassikia of the Ganiyou to give us the enlightenment and more educative information about the immigration issue. Bismillah, sir.
Yeah, brother Jelenke, you need to open up your camera. Other than that, it's just going to be showing E on the YouTube. So since you are going to be moderating, so your face needs to show. Other than that, we're just going to be seeing E like that.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I think Attorney Gassikia, I think you are on now, so. You are muted.
Okay. You can unmute yourself now. Gassikia.
Okay, good.
I think it's working now. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Even though this program is not religious based, since it's hosted by Nigeria Islamic Association, I think I'm still allowed to say Salaam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, we thank Allah for making this program a reality, and we also thank the organizers as well, Nigerian Islamic Association, for putting this together to allow our people to understand what really is going on and know how to prepare themselves based on a lot of information we are receiving. So most of us, with the progress of technology and news going on in the world, we all, one way or other, are hearing things from TikTok, from Instagram, for all these news channel or social media. And so we're now going to bug ourselves with some unnecessary stuff. We just want to caution us. So some of the things that we will address, we will touch based on U.S. law, U.S. immigration law in general. And we will also talk about how to watch out for fake news and how to reduce really our panic on this matter. So, as a general matter, it's very important that we remind ourselves how U.S. law works And that will make a lot of sense to many of us. And that will also give us some kind of peace of mind on how much worrisome we are. Number one, we need to understand that the US government um, has something that we call separation of power. And we talk about separation of power, it has two layers. Separation of power when it comes to federal government and state government, because US is a federalist system whereby we have a lot of states together that makes federal government, and we also have a state government, which is led by a governor. That's number one. Number two, we also need to understand that when we talk about the federal government also, there is also a separation of power where we have the executive, we have the legislative, and we have the judiciary. That's very important for us to understand some stuff going on in the country. When we take the first one, when we talk about separation of power in the federal level, we have a federal government who enforce what is federal law. We also have a state government who enforces what is state law. So the federal government has its own police, and the state also has its state police. Even the city has its own police. So we have CPD, for example, Chicago Police Department, right? Even in the states, Chicago Police Department will work in the city. And when we take highways, for example, we have highway police working on highway. So when I get on I-94, for example, and then I commit moving infraction, Chicago police will not come and deal with me. State police will pull me over, not Chicago police. So for us to understand how the law works. So likewise, the state control what it comes to a school and things like that, right? So when we get to federal level, we have the executive that enforces the law. We have the legislative that makes that law, and we have the judiciary who interpret the law. Very important for us to understand each one of them. So, for example, when we're talking about ICE, the meaning of ICE, maybe some of us don't even know the meaning of ICE. ICE is Immigration and Custom Enforcement. That is the meaning of ICE. Immigration and Custom Enforcement. Police. That's what ICE is for. ICE works for federal government. By working for the federal government, ICE enforce immigration law and enforce customs law. We have to make that one clear. ICE is not Chicago police. So you driving in your car, ICE will not pull you over. Only Chicago police will pull you over in the city for driving for committing any infraction. Because the reason why we are saying this is because people are so panicked, they don't even want to get out of their house, they don't want to drive. Some people are so panicked to the level of not even wanting to drop their kids to school. We have to be very careful. So that's why we need to understand that ICE will not pull you over on the streets. So now, because we have already mentioned that there is a separation of power, ICE is there to enforce immigration law. And Chicago police will pull you over for any other infraction. And then we hear people talking about, oh, this is a sanctuary city. At one point, even before President Trump come to power, some people have the notion that, oh, the mayor of Chicago and the governor of the state of Illinois will block ICE from coming to Chicago. Now we understand that that's not the case. When the reality is seeking it, they cannot block ICE from doing their work. The power they have because of separation of power is for them not to collaborate. They have their right not to collaborate with ICE when they come to Chicago, which is what our governor and our mayor are trying to enforce. They said, okay, if ICE want to do their work, we cannot prevent them from doing their work, but we are not going to assist you. We are not going to help you. While we have other cities in red states, whereby when police pull you over, for example, and they know you are an immigrant and you have a criminal case, they may call ICE and hand you over to ICE. So we need to understand that. So in Chicago, for example, that will not happen because we know Chicago will not collaborate with them. But in other cities, not in the state of Illinois, for example, ICE may, the police may pull you over, and when they realize that you have a criminal case, then they will hand you over to ICE. That is within their right. They can do that. But that will not happen with us here. However, ICE, for example, if they have information that somebody is going to Cook County jail or has a case in Cook County and they know he's an immigrant, they can go around and wait in the vicinity and to arrest that person. If Cook County refuses to collaborate with them and allow them in, but they can wait around and do their operation. So it's very important that we understand that distinction and be careful accordingly. Now, when we go to federal level, we also need to understand that the president does not make laws. He enforces laws. He does not make laws. He enforces laws. He's executive. He executes the law. That's the meaning of executive. Only Congress makes law. So that will give us the understanding that, for example, the past administration, Biden administration, tried as much as they can to make immigration law. But they failed because they proposed a bill to solve this immigration issue. But that did not work because Congress did not approve that law. Likewise, we also know that Biden, 3 months before he finished his administration, suggested a law to help some people who are undocumented. But what happened? They sued him. That's where the judiciary comes in. They said, well, the power that you don't have the power to do this that you want to do. Henceforth, that law will not come into play. So, meaning the president can decide to take up 1,000 executive orders to enforce law. The judiciary is there to put order into things and say, hey, no. You are going too far. This is not within your power. That makes me connect to one of the issues that we all know. Maybe we have somebody who is pregnant among us, expecting to have his US citizen baby. And he learned that she learned that the first day of President Trump, one of the things that he did was to control birth rights for non-immigrant parents. Unfortunately, what we know is part of US Constitution that any baby born in the soil of the United States will be US citizen. That is the Constitution of the United States. So a president cannot change that with executive order. That's not possible. But he went ahead and did that regardless. But by doing that, we know the next day people sue him. They sue the president of the United States and say, "Hey, this is beyond your power. You can't do that." Now, because he got sued, the issue goes now to the Supreme Court to tell us who is right, to read our Constitution to us again and say, "No, President, you went too far." Or, "Wow, President is right." But many lawyers believe so far that that is not right. So we are waiting for the Supreme Court to judge on that issue. So all this for us to understand that we are in country of rule of law. Some people go as far as saying, "Oh no, Supreme Court is this, the Supreme Court is under the control or whatever." We know so far President Trump has been president before for 4 years. Supreme Court did what they could do, and they will continue to do their work. So whatever they say, they have the last say, and that becomes the law of the land. So we are going to wait on the Supreme Court on some of the executive orders President Trump has been taking. For example, there is one executive order, probably that has nothing to do with immigration, that he took. And people sue him. The next day, he blocked some people's money. The next day, he said, I don't do that anymore. He retracted that. So just to tell you, this is a country of rule of law. The rule of law will be upheld. So now, that is some of the clarity that I want us to make. I want each one of us to understand that the United States remain a country of rule of law, and the law will be respected. Now, having said that, let's get to what is going on right now. President Trump, one of the things that he said he will do before he became president, and he has been doing, he has been insisting on arresting criminals. Those who are in the country illegally and they are criminals, he vowed to arrest them and deport them back to their country. And I've been asking people, this sounds a little bit funny, but I've not been getting a very clear answer on this. If I were to ask many of us on this Zoom today, how many people do you know that have been arrested? I've not been getting any serious answer. If I say that, I'm not suggesting that people are not being arrested. I'm not suggesting that ICE is not arresting people. But most of the focus right now are based on criminals. ICE is now conducting random operation. Most of the operations that have been conducted are there are no people they are looking for. They are targeted operations. We need to understand that part and make it clear in our brain. Many of the operations right now are targeted, and most of them are targeted towards criminals. So when you are in your house, you don't have any criminal law, any criminal case, and you are an immigrant here, you should just relax for now. ICE is not coming to your house unless someone can prove to me that they knock the door of somebody just because he doesn't have people in the country. That's why they came to him. I need to see the example, so I will track what I say. And I know I'm saying on Zoom, I'm saying on YouTube right now. I want somebody to challenge me on what I'm saying and say, hey, I know somebody doesn't have paper that came to his house. Just because he doesn't have paper, he doesn't have any criminal case. So far, we have not gotten there yet. So people that have been arrested are mostly criminals. People from Venezuela, I don't even want to name countries. But the operation is mostly focused on people who are criminal. We need to understand that. Number two, that we need to pay attention to. Some people say, don't go to the mosque, don't go to church, don't go to school. I say they're going to go to people's school, they're going to go to church. I really want to know how many churches did ICE go so far that I know, I witness it. I need people to challenge me on that. So my take so far that I know that will be happening. Maybe if they need somebody who is a criminal around a school, they may stay away in the vicinity to arrest whomever they want to arrest. Most likely, a midst of their operation, that's how it sounded. Now, yesterday, the news came to us that ICE was around one of our masjid, not in Chicago, in another state. I don't want to mention the state. I don't want to mention the masjid. But we heard. I have not been able to follow up and see what had happened there. But I'm sure at the end of the day, most likely, it's going to be a targeted operation. That led me, I want to address another issue that said happened in Chicago last week. They said ICE was going to elementary school. Even today, I challenged somebody, I said, prove to me that ICE went to elementary school. I don't want anything on YouTube, TikTok or anything. That a credible newspaper reported on. They sent me an article. At the end of the day, from the article, I sent it to the person. I said, did you read this well? Did you read this article all the way to the end? It turned out that the people who went to that school were not ICE. It was a secret service handling an issue about TikTok. It wasn't ICE. And they corrected that the next day, apparently. CPS corrected that and said that was not ICE. So we have to be very careful about the news. And that led me to talk about all these fake news going on. About 3 weeks ago, oh no, sorry, it's not been 3 weeks yet. Probably a week or 2 weeks ago, there was a video that came out in a mall with siren running. They said, oh, I went to the mall and I said, okay, we saw police cars. How do we know it's ICE? ICE does not, they don't conduct their operation like that. Like with siren and with all this noise, they usually don't do that. So we need to be very careful about fake news going on. People say, oh, they arrested somebody here, they arrested somebody. Okay, who was arrested? What did that person do? Do we know anything about the immigration cases? We need to go through that step first before we start scaring people around and say, ICE is arresting this, ICE arrested that, and go around with fake news. So we really need to be very careful about the information that we are sharing with people. We know the situation is really bad. We understand that the situation is really bad. However, we should not add to the panic of people, whereby people cannot take their kids to school, they cannot leave the house, people cannot go to work because they are so scared of ICE. Okay, I talked about criminal earlier. The other people that could be targeted by ICE were people who have already had a final order of deportation. If somebody has already had final order of deportation, most likely they may come after you. Those are the priorities. If you have a final order of deportation, they may come after you. So, but any random immigrant on the streets is hard. But people don't even want to take the buses because they are afraid of ICE. It has not gotten to that level yet. Let's be very careful about what we are sharing. And let's be careful. And I've been asking people, if you refuse to leave your house, are you going to do that for 4 years? This guy is going to be there for 4 years. He just started his term. We are 2 weeks away, and you're not getting out. Even if they are looking for you, you don't know when they're going to come to your place. They have your address. They know how to find you. So we should not add to the panic of people with all these fake news. Now, the other category of people we need to talk about, to touch on. If you are in a country, you have something going on, you have a pending case. As long as your case is pending, most likely they're not going to do anything to you until they make a decision on your case. In fact, before they got there, they even talk about people who came through the border who did not have I-94. They made it clear. If your case is in court, they will let the court do their work. And once the court decide that you should be removed from the country, and then they will remove you. So because I saw a message asking what is a final order of deportation. They sent you a letter and they said, leave our country. And you don't have anything going on. You don't have any appeal on the case. Then that is a final order of deportation. Most likely, those orders are taken by judge. So if a judge say, leave the country, then you're on final order of deportation. Or even if it's not a judge, it's a USCIS, you apply for a case, they denied you, and they said, okay, leave the country, you have 30 days to leave, then you don't have anything going on at that point. But even with that, most of the time, those are not first priority. But those who have final order in court, their priority could look precedent on those who are just denied by USCIS. Now, because there are two fear-mongering going on around people, when you have a pending case, I have a receipt with you. Work with your receipt, with something that can identify that, oh, okay, I have a pending case. In worst case scenario, ICE also has your biometrics. When they check your fingerprints, they will know who you are. The idea that a US citizen may be arrested and then they will find themselves back home before they realize it, that's almost impossible. If you have your papers somewhere, when they get you arrested, you have access to the phone and ask somebody to bring your passport or something that shows that you're a US citizen. If you have a green card, there is not much to worry about. We have people with a green card worry, can I go? Can I leave the country? Of course you can leave the country and come back. There is no problem. Unless you have something going on, you know, hey. But if you have your green card and you're using your green card, just mind your business. They're not looking for you. If you have a work permit and you have a case going on, they're not looking for you. So we have to understand all this. So when you are a green card holder, the law asks you to have something that identifies you as a green card holder. Either you have your green card with you, or you have a digital copy of your green card, or a copy of your green card in your wallet, or your green card itself. So it's very important to have something. If you're a US citizen and you are so afraid, go ahead and do passport card that you can put in your wallet. It has the same size with your ID that you can put in your wallet and show in case you get arrested. Or you get stopped, I won't even say arrested, you get stopped by ICE. And like we said, it's gonna be very hard, very odd that happened. But in case that happened, have something on you. So far, we have not seen instances like that. However, I need to caution everyone and say this. If you fall in the category of all this we talked about lastly, like, okay, you don't have anything going on, but you don't have your paper. Yes, you did not commit a crime. Yes, you are not on final order of deportation. But if you are illegal in the country, ICE can pick you up at any time. They may not be looking for you. But if you have a bad luck to be around people they are looking for, and they ask for your paper, you don't have anything, they can take you. At that point, you are also, your companions are not good. And they have all reason to pick you, although they're not looking for you. But you are at the wrong place at the wrong time. And they can pick you because you're not legal in the country. So we need to understand all this. I'm not going to recite any law or say anything. So it's just to, for us, to reduce all this fear in us. I'm not saying things are not going on, but we need to watch for fake news. And we need to be very careful and understand what we are even hearing in the news. That's also is very important. Yes, you hear something in the news. You heard people are arrested, but what type of people? So we need to understand all this and be very careful. So I will stop right there, and then two questions. If there are alignment about what I said or any other question, we'll be glad to answer those questions. Thank you for your attention, and I'm open to take your question. Thank you.
We say a big jazakumullahu khairan to our Anthony Gassikia. We really enjoyed the educative moment. Everybody really learns one thing or the other, and more clarification you brought to everybody. We say once again, Jazakumullah khairan. We don't have much time on us now. Is now the question section. If anybody has any question, you could put it down on the chat or you raise your hand on the Zoom so we can call you to unmute you so you can ask your question. So the floor is open for questions and our Anthony is ready for the answer. Bismillah.
Sulia, you can unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, I was trying to let him know there is a question in the chart asking about what is the can we get a full meaning of final orders of deportation by Solomon?
I think he covered that already.
Yes, I did see the question earlier, and I answered that. Final order of deportation means the court has ordered you removed from the United States. There is a court that said you are no longer welcome here, go back home. That's a final order of deportation. It could also be USCIS sending you a message saying you have to leave because you apply for a case, we deny you leave.
Tábàárẹ̀ ẹni tó fẹ́ béèrè tiẹ̀ náà ní Yorùbá, ẹ̀yin lọ́ọ̀yà wa gbọ́ Yorùbá dáadáa o.
Okay. There is a question. What is the appropriate?
Lọ́ọ̀yà yẹn náà kún sọ ní Yorùbá kán mọ̀ pé ẹ gbọ́ Yorùbá.
Yes. What is the appropriate way to respond when stop or have eyes come to your house? Okay. So I wanted to address that. Okay. The United States is a country of law, and when ICE comes to your door, anyone comes to your door, you have the right not to open the door for anyone that you do not know. Number one, you see a police at your door, you have the right to ask them questions as to what they are looking for. Now, when we say that, so ICE is almost treated as a police, so we'll consider it as a criminal case. So there is something we call search warrants and arrest warrants. Okay. Your house may be searched by a law enforcement officer. When they come to your house, they say they want to search anything, you have to ask for search warrants that has been signed by a judge. And they must go to the judge and say, I have probable cause to think that something illegal is in this person's house. I want to search that house. When they want to arrest you, they also have to have an arrest warrant to show that, hey, I have a probable cause that somebody committed a crime, or I went to the judge, I asked the judge to allow me to go arrest so. So when they come to your house, you have to present that to them before you open the door. They have to present that to you before you open the door. If there is any way they can slide, I have a warrant to arrest you. Okay, fine. Then if you don't open the door, they have a warrant and they think it's very important, they can break your door. So they can arrest you at any time, anywhere, if there is a warrant to arrest you. So, hence, when they come to your door, you have to make sure that number one, you don't open your door just for anyone. Number two, you must ask for to see a warrant. And when you get arrested, you also have the right not to say anything until your lawyer is present. When they ask you a question, I don't want to say anything until I have my lawyer. Allow me to call my lawyer. And then if you have any question to ask me, I will respond to your question in front of my lawyer. So you have all right to do that as well.
We have Brother Olawale Wasiu trying to ask question. Alhaji Lateef ẹ jọ̀ọ́ bá wa unmute ara yín àbí?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Jazakumullah khairan. Sheikh, please, I just want to ask about those people have immigration have already denied their case, but they never say that. Okay, tí wọ́n fún wọn ní kán kúrò nílùú, ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ti deny case tiwọn. Irú àwọn yẹn ń kọ́.
Okay, àti sọ́mọ́wọ̀ náà lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Ẹ tí wọ́n bá deny case ẹ lọ wo lẹ́tà yẹn dáadáa, wọ́n kọ síbẹ̀ náà ni pé o ti wà ń lu wa o àti deny yẹn báyìí o. A dẹ̀ ti rí pé o ò ní kọ́ọ̀sì láti wà ń bí yìí mọ́, o ní 30 days láti fìlú wálẹ̀. O máa wà ń bẹ̀ nìyẹn náà ni. Now, èyàn jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. What usually happens is because there is no too much enforcement of that. So one that has a case denied, they file the application again. Even most of the time in the letter, they will say, if you file again, you are authorized to file again. However, between the time you file something again and the time they denied you, they have all right to come and pick you up. Although most of the time, that may not be the priorities, but no one can justify the priority for them. So once you are illegal in the country, as a matter of fact, anyone who does not have correct paper, who overstayed in the country, can be picked up by ICE. Let's make that one clear. We are not talking about priorities, but what is going on, right? We're not saying that they cannot pick you up. They can pick you up, but you are not a priority. Anyone who is in the country illegally, okay, let me define the word illegally. You overstay your visa. You come here, you spend more than 6 months that they authorize you to stay, and you are in the country, they can pick you up at any time. So, regardless of whether they ask you to leave the country, they didn't ask you to leave the country. You're already in the country illegally, but you are not their focus right now. They are not looking for you. I hope that is clear now. So any legal hotline or assistance in case, I think there is a number that chairman has, the executive has shared with us many times. I don't know the number of it, but the chairman can share that with us. And so for those for hotline call, just in case.
We have someone called Osayo. I guess she has a question for you, sir. Can you unmute? Ask your question, please.
What's the name? Who's the questioner?
Bosayo.
Busayo. Okay, let's
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to see where the name is. Okay. Okay, Busayo, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. And tó ń jẹ́ Busayo kó unmute microphone kó sọ̀rọ̀.
Okay. Hello. Gassikia. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Question mi ni pé má bínú. Yorùbá ni mo fẹ́ sọ. Question mi ni wípé tí èèyàn bá tí èèyàn níwèé nísìnyí, but tí ìwé àwọn ọmọ èèyàn tí ò wáyé tí jáde, kí nìkan tí èèyàn wá lè ṣe tí èèyàn lè fi protect àwọn ọmọ yẹn dìgbà tí ìwé àwọn ọmọ yẹn náà máa fi jáde?
Okay. Tí ẹ bá níwèé, tí ìwé àwọn ọmọ tí
Tí èèyàn
jáde
ti ní bóyá bíi 5 years ìwé bí pé èèyàn work authorization ti expire, èèyàn wá request fún mi, wọ́n wá fún ẹni yẹn ní another 5, wọ́n wá fún ní 5 years ìwé iṣẹ́ mi fún ẹni yẹn, but tí àwọn ọmọ yẹn náà tẹ́ pé document àwọn ọmọ yẹn ò tí jáde, kí nìyẹn máa lè ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ yẹn láti protect àwọn yẹn?
Okay. Kí n tó máa dáhùn bí alájà, but mo fẹ́ ká try as much as we can. Ká máa béèrè very specific question. Fún àǹfààní ara yín náà, kẹ́ mọ̀ wá to gbogbo business ara yín sórí kíní báyìí. General question, fine. But if the question is too specific, maybe that will be private consultation tàbí dáhùn ẹ̀ bí. Ọ̀lẹ́ ìbéèrè tẹ béèrè. Mo tó bá ti mú wọn fún yín ní ìwé iṣẹ́, àwọn náà mọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ní ìwé iṣẹ́, tí ìwé iṣẹ́ yẹn dẹ̀ valid, máa clarify àárín yẹn o. Ẹni tó bá ní ìwé iṣẹ́, tí ìwé iṣẹ́ yẹn dẹ̀ valid, ó túmọ̀ sí wípé one way or other, àwọn náà tí wọ́n fún ní ìwé iṣẹ́, wọ́n àláwọ̀ ó lè má wà, ó dàbí kí ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kan nú ilé kí ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kan níta ni. So ó mọ̀ pé àwọn ṣì ń wo kéèsì ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́. That's not important. Right? However, aláwọ̀ tó ní ìwé iṣẹ́, kò táwọn náà mọ̀ pé àwọn ti get denial letter. Lóòótọ́ ìwé yẹn on the surface, ó sì sọ pé 5 years ni. But òun náà mọ̀ pé ìwé tó wà lọ́wọ́ òun o, kéèsì tó ń torí ẹ̀ tí wọ́n ṣe fóun ní ìwé iṣẹ́ yẹn wọ́n ti deny yẹn. So ìwé yẹn kọ́ là ń sọ. If your case is pending, they are not looking for you. All you need to do, have your receipt. I don't see them going after our minors, teenagers, tí wọ́n commit crime, tí wọ́n ṣe nǹkan. So they are not looking for that. So irú ọmọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, they are fine. Wọ́n ní láti wọ́ ìdípa kankan títí Ọlọ́run ọba yóò fi ṣògo yóò fi ṣiṣẹ́ ìdílé ọ̀ní ẹ̀yìn. So ẹni tó bá ti ní ìwé iṣẹ́ tó pend, that person is fine.
Mo rò pé nǹkan tí lọ́ọ̀yà wa sọ ni pé ẹni tó bá mọ̀ pé òun náà ní issue pẹ̀lú immigration, kàkà kó béèrè títa ara ẹ̀ ń bí báyìí, tá a bá ti ṣe tán lọ́ọ̀yà máa fi nọ́mbà ẹ̀ síta, kẹ́ ẹ pé lọ́ọ̀yà Gassikia fún rẹ̀, tẹ́ bá pé kíní ìrí ẹnìkan bá ní issue tó yẹ pé kíní yìí ń bọ́dà mi o, kó má jẹ́ pé kólú ẹ̀ máa sọ títa ara ẹ̀ kan kúnnú mọ̀ pé ẹni tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ kó má jẹ́ pé ìbí náà ni wọ́n ti dá mọ̀. Àdúrà wa gbà.
Ọ̀rọ̀ náà ni.
Ẹni tó bá ní ìbéèrè tó wá general question, ẹ dákun ẹ béèrè, ẹ bá rí ìsọwọ́ yín àwọn mú tí yín kẹ́ lè béèrè ìbéèrè yín o. Tó bá dẹ̀ sí béèrè mọ́ dẹ̀rẹ́ kẹ̀.
Alájì, mo ń try láti share helpline yẹn.
Ó ṣe àwọn rí yẹn.
Oh, okay.
Kíní ti fa Gassikia ni kó bá.
Màá fi sínú chat box nísìnyí so that ó easy fáwọn èèyàn láti copy ẹ̀.
Kọ́ lẹ̀ ń bẹ̀.
Nínú chat box.
Àwọn eléyìí táwọn tí gbogbo ayé lélẹ̀ ìbọ̀tẹ́ tó bá ní ìbéèrè tó jẹ́ pé òun wá ará ilé tó fẹ́ bá sọ, lọ́ọ̀yà Gassikia wà ń bí.
Okay. What advice do you have for overstay? Okay, when I go question méjì ló wà ń bí yìí nísìn. Ìkànnì, what advice do you have for overstay? What about the immigrant children in school? Okay. Overstay. If you have overstayed your visa, it's very hard for me. All of the advice I can give you, there are some workplace notorious for hiring illegal people. ICE can burst into those places at any time and ask for people to prove their work permit or whatever. So refrain from working illegally. I'm not going to come keep, that's all I can say. So refrain from working in the country illegally. So if you overstay your visa, like I said again, you are deemed to be deported. However, you may not be a priority for ICE right now. You also need to watch your step, to watch where you go. So bí ẹ bá lọ bọ́ sí tó lọ kó ìsáyà àwọn tí wọ́n ń wá ọmọ kóhun náà papọ̀ máa tí wọ́n ń wá o tí wọ́n bá wáyà tọ́lọ́run bá ṣẹ́yìn kúrò ẹ̀ náà ṣọ́ rẹ̀ so tí ẹ bá ti overstay visa ẹ̀ anytime wọ́n lè pick it up so òun ni kó ṣọ́ ìrìn kó sì mẹ́ni tó ń bá rìn ẹ̀sẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá ti rí ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹni tó ń jẹ̀gbẹ́ wọ́n ká àwọn náà kó àjẹgbẹ́ ni tí wọ́n kó gbogbo wọn papọ̀ ni so ìyẹn jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Question kejì tí mo lérò pé ó wà ń bẹ́ẹ̀. What about the immigrant children in school? I think I addressed that earlier, and I will say that again. I want somebody to challenge me and say, oh, I know a particular school. Tí ICE lọ síbẹ̀ tí wọ́n lọ arrest yẹn. Gbogbo ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èyí tá à ń gbọ́ fake news ni. Èyí tí wọ́n gbé jáde nínú news sàn. They corrected it the next day and said, no, that is not true. Pé àwọn tó lọ sí school yẹn o secret service ni kì í ṣe ICE. So I personally, I don't have a concern that ICE will go to elementary school or secondary school, public school to go arrest anybody. Kids can just go to their school. As long as that kid too, I'm pé àwọn ọmọ ẹlòmíì ò ní mọ̀ sọ yẹ o. Tí ìbá ṣe pé bóyá ọmọ tó lọ join àwọn gang àbí tó ń ṣe for the information yẹn lọ́wọ́. Then they are looking for him seriously, they may step into that school. I don't see them going around and ask each child in the school to identify themselves. So school is a safe place for learning, and I don't see ICE go to school and look for children. So when that Tawari information to lead to that, see wahala. Alẹ́ platform that inform ara wa á bá wọn elétò sọ wọ́n dẹ̀ máa jẹ́ kí gbogbo ilé ayé mọ̀ but as things stand right now I don't think that will happen.
Mr. Chairman, where are we?
Just for easier access to that information, I will try to share it on the main screen right now. So our Tabatu need more personal question.
Yeah, man.
She number you got?
No, sir.
Oh yeah. Wait for me.
773.
Yes.
739. 9095.
Okay. Ejo, mo send this in the chat box. This is the correct number. Anyway, if we don't have any more questions, we just want to thank everyone for taking your time to attend this. We know that there are a lot of information going out there, and you have a choice to choose what you listen to. but we believe you trust us that we are definitely going to do our due diligence to make sure that we provide you with information from somebody that actually has an authority to talk about it. And that is one of the reasons why we chose the word a discourse about this. And we want to thank you so much. And we hope this is going to be beneficial to most of us, especially to actually douse the level of panicking that is going on. We in the executive board and the elders and within the NIA communities, it's on daily basis that we are getting calls. People want to know, what do we do? What can we do? Which one do we believe? And that is why we have brought this to you today. And like we said, it's on our YouTube, NIA Chicago. If you go on YouTube and search it, NIA Chicago is going to be there. And for members of our community, we are definitely going to share the link again for those people that could not attend this. So I want to alamfani láti túbọ̀ ká túbọ̀ dáadáa torí ngbà míì èèyàn need the information jọ ẹ̀kọ́ lọ kó lè wọ ara dáadáa. But at any point in time, we are here. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to shield us with his strongest protection on Ishiwamu, Adeniwa Nibiti, Atimari, and Infesesi. Oni tó bá ń ṣọ́ tó bá ní kó ṣọ́ra ìwọ náà tó bá ń ṣọ́ ni ìwọ náà ṣọ́ra ẹ̀ òyìn náà wà ńbẹ̀ kí gbogbo wa kí Ọlọ́run kó pa wá mọ́. We are here. If you have any question after this, if you miss this information, we will be here to assist as much as we can. Thank you so much. I thank you, the executive board of NIA. I thank my chairman emeritus, Alaji Shoemimo, for all coming together to make this happen. Along Kiyoda Boguboa. Our speaker, Attorney Gassikia, we thank you so much. The very first day that we saw this election, we've been discussing about this, that this is something. How do we stay on top of this? How do we try to move ahead of this? But we decided to wait to let things to start unfolding so that we will know what direction we want to actually, channel our discussion on. Alhamdulillah, this happened. If there is going to be any need for us to revisit this, trust us, inshallah, may Allah spare our life, we will be back. And a lot of other information are there in the community. If you follow Lawyer Gassikia, he's still going to be delivering more lectures on this in the subsequent weeks, inshallah. I had to post a family members who are not until the lobby, that is by the NCNMO. That is coming very soon, I think next week, about the same topic, inshallah. So thank you so much. Thank you. Olonki Odabu Bubua. Shekani, Mr. Secretary, ni ka fún wa ní closing prayer. Torí mi ò.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ everybody àti Anthony Gassikia fún àsìkò wọn tí wọ́n fi sílẹ̀ fún wa. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ chairman emeritus bí chairman náà ṣe sọ. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ chairman, adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ everybody. We say Jazakumullahu khairan. May Almighty Allah perfect everything that concerns us. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamu ala mursalin. Walhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.